So I saw Captain Marvel, and I was disappointed. The people I trust universally detest this movie. I don't think it was that bad, though. Now, before you go accusing me of giving money to what is essentially garbage and supporting the evil empire that is Disney, don't worry. I, through various legitimate avenues, have access to a theater for free. Now, I would say that most of this movie is not bad. It really only gets bad at the end of the film. And it gets really bad. Most of the film, the audience is trying to determine what is happening to the main character. Why does she have flashbacks? Can she escape the scroll and return to the Kree? What is the story behind the warp drive technology that was developed and tested on Earth 6 years ago, etc.? But at the end of the film, things go off the rails. The negative things that stand out for me in the first 75% of the film are the following. They keep using the acronym SHIELD. It has been pointed out to me that they came up with the acronym in one of the Captain America movies set after the Captain Marvel movie. The Captain Marvel movie is set in 1995, by the way. Sam L. Jackson plays Nick Fury. Now, I like Sam L. Jackson. He does have good screen charisma, and he played one of my favorite Jedis, only being beaten out by the little green fella. But, and I don't know why no one ever points this out, Nick Fury isn't black. Okay? Originally he was white in the comics. Alright? I don't like it when the races of characters are changed. And this is true for any character of any race. If you made a new Black Panther movie and had, say, Matt Damon play the Black Panther, I would be very unhappy with that casting choice. Um, Moving on, for some reason, the main character, who is a combat pilot, takes her credit card with her on mission. Now, this was not a combat mission and it was over US airspace, but it was still considered a dangerous mission. It wasn't a trip to the corner Walgreens. Um, we are constantly being told instead of shown in this movie. We were repeatedly told that the main character is too emotional. This is what is holding her back. Good movies show. We are not ever shown her being too emotional. There is a fight scene with her where she is walking through enemies as easily as I would walk through the forest. And in this fight scene, she's obviously angry, but her emotions don't seem to impede her in any way in that fight scene. Now, lastly, this movie is obviously woke. The bad guy is a white male. The good man in the movie of any significance is black. The women are the stars of the show, and we are reminded that the main character was told throughout her life she wasn't good enough. Oh, there is one other thing. Everything in this movie is terribly convenient. Everything. Now, at the end of the movie, Captain Marvel comes out of her shell, and she is the most powerful thing in the entire universe by far. I can only think of one other character that is more powerful than Captain Marvel in any way. That's the Hulk, who appears to be physically stronger than Captain Marvel, but nowhere near as intelligent as her in his Hulk form, anyway. Um, and I'm not kidding. She's like Superman on steroids without that pesky kryptonite vulnerability. Nothing comes close to injuring her throughout the entire movie, and she even becomes stronger than what is, for all intents and purposes, the Kree's god, overthrowing the god by sheer strength of will alone. But seriously, people, movies work better when there are stakes. I don't particularly like Superman because he is so powerful. There is very little that challenges Superman. Now, I am rather fond of the recent Superman movies, all of them with the exception of the Justice League movie, which was mediocre. But they do a really good job of giving the impression that Superman could lose in those movies, or at least lose something. This is really hard to do with someone who is invulnerable and stronger than 50 men, right? Captain Marvel doesn't give the impression that anything can challenge her. There is a point in the film where she's captured. She usually escapes, almost as if being captured was pointless. So, moving on to the cat. Yes, there is a cat in this movie. Nope, actually, he's not a cat. He's a Flurkin, which is a much more massive creature than a cat. We know this because he will extend his jaw, which is filled with massive tentacles. Tentacles big enough and strong enough to lift up 5 aliens the size of adult human males. And a jaw expansive enough that it can devour said alien males in a single gulp. And it does all of this while being held by Nick Fury. This is not possible. The thing would have to weigh as much as 3 elephants. Fury would not be able to pick the cat up. Oh, sorry, Flurkin up. Now, one final complaint, and I'm sure I could probably come up with another 10, is the pager we see Nick Fury use in the end of Avengers Infinity War to call Captain Marvel. That pager is featured heavily in this movie, which, remember, is set in 1995. Now, heavily for a pager, right? How much emphasis can you put on a pager? Um, so that pager stayed in good working order for 23 years. From 1995 to 2018 is 23 years. And Captain Marvel tells Nick Fury to use the pager in case of an emergency. So Ultron wasn't an emergency. The alien invasion of New York wasn't an emergency. Donald Trump winning the presidency wasn't an emergency. Seems like there's been a lot of emergencies that he could have used that pager for. There's probably some other ones that we didn't even go over, but yeah, she could have come and saved the day many many times. Anyway, the audience seemed to like it a lot. I've never been in an audience that clapped more at a movie than this one. FYI, people, the actors on the shiny screen can't hear you. The movie has done well and will probably continue to do well, so I can assume we will see Captain Marvel save the day in Endgame. But this movie was like a speed bump in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know it's there, it's annoying to deal with, and then you move on. And you don't think about it again until you have to travel that street again. It would take absolutely nothing away from the MCU if this movie didn't exist. It seems to me this entire endeavor by Disney was an attempt at saying, look, we're woke. Women can be powerful too. So, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. And I will see you guys next time.